I'm sharing another video from the series of interviews I've conducted with Rachel Virginia Hicks. She was born in 1926 here in Cherokee County, North Carolina. In this video, we discuss some of the medicinal remedies that were common when she was a girl here growing up in the mountains of Appalachia. Things like blackberries, asafoetida, sulfur, and she also discusses the fact that she really believes we would be better served today if we encourage those wild things to grow around our houses instead of the manicured yards that most of us have. You can find the playlist of other interviews with Rachel in the description below, and please be on the lookout for the next video in this series.
Now, you used to make us the hot lemon tea, and you'd put a spoon of whiskey in it, and then there was some kind of berries you used to boil and make us the tea when we had the flu. And asafoetida, you used to give us that stuff. Lord have mercy, I hated that.
Asafoetida is good though. You can put a few drops for a baby and it's good for the colic.
Yeah. Is that the one that sometimes they would, maybe it wasn't the drops, must have been something else, but they would let kids wear around their neck like on a string? Yeah.
Put it in a little rag.
A little rag, okay. Well, see, in my mind, so they probably put drops. Was it like the herb they put in the bag or drops?
It's a little block.
Okay.
And you get a little block and tighten a little rag. They put a string around their neck.
Yeah, it's supposed to.
When it's cutting teeth.
Yeah.
Babies, when they're cutting teeth all the time.
And they tie a dime around a baby's neck.
I've heard of that too, like a mercury dime or something,
What, honey?
A dime, cut a dime, drill a hole in a dime and tie it around the baby's neck, a silver dime.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I asked at the pharmacy one time about asafoetida, and they said, when Mama got it, it was in a block. It's an old brown block. It kind of reminded you of that tobacco, the square.
Yeah, like that they have to whittle off before a chaw or whatever. Yeah.
And Mama she would scrape that with a knife, and it's powdered, and she would put it in whiskey and give us a spoon of it at night when we had the croup.
When you were sick,
And
I'd make tea, full of sugar, make tea and put in,
Do I need to turn that lamp off over there?
No, I think it'll be fine.
Or the overhead light? Well, there ain't many bulbs in it. But I asked at the pharmacy in Blairsville about the asafoetida, and she said she was a young pharmacist, but she went and looked it up. She said now it comes in liquid form and it contains alcohol.
Wow. Yeah.
But it was like $150 for an ounce of it, I think.
My gracious.
And I said, well, I don't need it. I was just wondering if there's any such thing.
That's proud. They were proud of that, weren't they? Yeah.
And there used to be, when we would get pink eye and stuff, Mama had a bottle of stuff called Argerol, and it was brown. But when she put it in her eye, it turned her eyeball yellow.
Argerol,
And if you got it in your clothes,
it did not come out, did it?
It didn't. It stained them. Yeah.
But it sure would cure the sore eyes, they called it, used to. Lots of them, their eyes would get all sore and marred up, And especially when they had a cold and flu, stuff like that,
Yeah. I've been reading a book. Alex Stewart was the man's name. He lived over in Tennessee, but he talked about, he done all kinds of stuff. He's dead now, but all kinds of different he called it following, so he was following doctrine. But he talked about the sore eyes. That's what he called it, was sore eyes. Yeah, that was what he called it. He talked about, too, the scald head. Talked like it was, it sounded horrible. It was basically where I guess your hair follicles get infected, and lots of people suffered from it, and then they would lose all their hair. Basically, that's the only way you could get rid of it, was to take out your hair and your roots and all.
Oh,
I wonder if
never heard
that, yeah, that was, yeah, and he said when he was telling about it was that it was common up to a certain point, and then he said, you don't never hear tell of nobody having it now. So I wonder if that wasn't maybe in his area, maybe a hygiene thing or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or better food. You know, I don't know. People got better food.
Oh yeah.
Corey, are we going?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine to be part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to sit there and you're going to help us.
Yeah, you help our memory. Yeah. Well, it's, you know, I'm thankful for modern medicine. Like when I had Corey and Katie, I likely would have not had them if I hadn't have known early on that I had twins, and then early on that I was going to in the danger of losing them, and I had to go to bed and all that, and I was really sick, suffered every malady there was. So I'm thankful for modern medicine. But at the same time, we've got so far away from things, just everyday stuff that could have helped us, you know, and dependent on, you know, like that wonderful, the oil, or what did you say the name of it was? Arger oil.
I don't reckon you can find it
Right,
now.
that you can't even get it, but you could get it then you could treat your sore eyes. Which about all kids end up having that at some point, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, even today they do, yeah. So that would have been, yeah, we've lost so much. We just got so far away from it. Of course, you could say that in every aspect of our lives, for sure.
And that's like ginseng.
Yeah.
You know, they used ginseng so much back then, but then it's got so popular, they just raise it to
sell,
sell
to make the money,
to the drug companies.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just about destroyed everything like that.
Yeah.
Even around in our yards where the weeds and those old weeds that say, and this like blackberry briars, you know how people cut them down, burns them. I said, if I was able now, I'd fix me a place and I'd hunt me some blackberry briars. I'd have me a blackberry garden.
Yeah.
Because blackberries are a good. I like them. Blackberry pies.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Besides the medicinal value for your stomach.
Yeah, it's supposed to be good for your stomach, aren't they?
Well, yeah, you get this old dysentery. Ann's husband, after he come back out of the army, he was working up on Warrior, and they're building the road over there, and he's working for Oasis, and he come in, that old diarrhea, and I said, William, let me get some blackberries. I always canned blackberries, you know, I'd get out and pick wild blackberries and can them. I know. But the next evening when he come in from work, he said, Granny, where's them blackberries? And I went and got him a couple of blackberries and put him a spoonful of sugar in it, took it to him, and he ate them. Next morning he's better.
Wow.
Just recently he's talking about that.
Yeah.
And said one time he's sick, after he'd come back, he had that old cold or flu or something or another, you know. And he said, here she come with this big old white rag. Said, what's that? And I'd greased it up and fixed it and pinned it on him. Next morning he's better.
Wow. Yeah.
He talks about that now.
Yeah. That's wonderful, though.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
That's the way we had to raise our children. We couldn't run to the doctors.
Yeah.
They wasn't doctors to run to.
Right.
That one maybe in town, you know, there wasn't hospitals.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. What did just thinking off the top of my mind about babies, like for colic, because I was lucky my girls never had colic, but I had one of my cousins' little boys had it, and I've just never heard a baby cry like that. They're just miserable with a bellyache. Was there something people did for that?
Oh yeah, you can acidity. We used to get fidgety, they called it. You put it and put whiskey in it, you know, in a bottle. And you'd take just a few drops of that and drop it, and it would, you know, most mothers breastfed their babies.
Yeah.
Milk, a little milk and a spoon, put a few drops of that, give them that acidity, it stopped that colic. Yeah.
And so that's the acidity too that I've read about it. I've never seen it. That they would put in a little pouch and let them kids wear around their neck. And was that to ward off sickness, or what did? So we had a little camera issue. We'll start back. I think we were talking about the acidity. So they wore it in a little pouch, and that was for their asthma or to prevent sickness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They wore it, yeah.
Did
and cutting their teeth, you know, when
their
they're
teeth.
cutting their teeth, you know, they'd have diarrhea and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the things that they do. But, and you talk about the catnip. The cats liked it, and it's good to make a little tea all up for babies when they have the colic too.
Thank you.
Different things like that.
Yeah. So at most every yard probably just had catnip growing in it.
Oh yeah, they had herbs growing around their yard, and you didn't have these mowers and all, and the grass, that little grass, it wasn't growing up knee high in the yard because she kept it stomped down.
Yeah.
Didn't sow grass and whatever.
Didn't have to worry about mowing every weekend, did
no,
you?
you didn't.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I said people goes out now and buys fertilizer and all, make their yards big and green, and then they have to mow every week.
It's kind of a joke on us, ain't it?
Yeah.
We don't buy fertilizer, but we do have to mow. Our grass is kind of pitiful, but we still have to mow it.
Yeah.
I think it was smarter in those days to have useful, like you said, if you had your area where your blackberry briars were, or your
Whatever was
weeds
growing,
or whatever. Yeah.
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 You did. Different things like that grew.
Thinking about being outside in the summertime like we are now, this morning I got stung. I was letting the chickens out, and I put on Matt's big, we call them mud boots, but big boots to go out there, and there was somehow a yellow jacket got in there and stung me on my way back in. What did you do for bee stings? Like when I was little, sometimes we'd put tobacco on them.
Yeah, you'd put if they had chewed tobacco, dip snuff, either one, dab it on there.
Yeah.
And stuff like that you could use.
Yeah.
And sometimes you take, and if you got a cut, you had turpentine, you put turpentine on it, and tied it up and kept it clean. And if it kind of got like it's going infected, you got you some Epsom salts, and you'd soak it in Epsom salts water and stuff like that, and doctor yourself. That's the way you did back then. And it's still good today.
Oh yeah, right. During this time we're in now, dog days, it seemed like people worried more about their cuts and their sores and that kind of stuff during dog days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'd use sulfur, but sulfur stunk so bad, and if you got it in your clothes, it's hard to get out.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, and it takes sulfur and a little lard, and if you got a bad sore, put that sulfur on there though. But it would get in your clothes, and you can hardly get the odor out if you got it on your clothes.
Yeah. What about poison oak and poison ivy? Did you ever have to worry about that? Was you ever prone to getting it?
It never did bother me, but some people it does.
Yeah.
And it's a hard thing to doctor it. Different people takes different things. And
I can remember rubbing pine needles,
Yeah.
hemlock pine needle, on us for poison oak and poison ivy.
Yeah. I've never heard of that. I've heard about jewelweed, that people use jewelweed.
And
Yeah.
lye soap, I make lye soap and
Yeah.
put jewelweed in it. I
Oh,
always
good,
keep me
yeah.
a bar for
For poison oak.
poison oak.
Yeah. Yeah.
Touch me not, Mama
Yeah.
calls it.
Touch me not.
yeah, wild touchment was good. If you had wild touchment was one of the best things that grew,
Yeah.
to put on poison vine. Yeah.
The ones that wild touch-me-nots around my house are orange, and that's all I'd ever seen, which they're beautiful, they're pretty. But when I was up in your area one time, Junaluska, I seen yellow ones, and they were so pretty. I'd never seen a solid yellow one before.
hadn't you?
No, yeah.
Yeah, we just
Yeah.
have orange ones
Yeah.
here too.
Yeah.
Especially down the road, I always
Yeah.
go down
That
there. and
juice
get it,
in.
so.
Yeah, get that juice, sappy stuff in them. Yeah.
It is. It's amazing what just the weed can do.
Right,
That's
yeah.
what I said. They're destroying everything like that.
Yeah.
Just like out in the woods, I said that no wonder the animals are coming down. Used to there's not blackberries, blueberries or huckleberries.
Yeah.
There's huckleberries,
Yeah.
gooseberries, and this what was, let's see, huckleberries and gooseberries and buckberries.
Mm.
Buckberries look like what you'd call maybe like a huckleberry, only they're black looking. And they're sour.
Oh, I've never seen
Yeah,
them.
buckberries.
Yeah. Huh.
And then this little mountain tea birch.
Yeah.
You know, it has berries on it.
Yeah.
And the animals ate stuff like that.
Right.
But now they burn the forest out. They kill the seeds off the trees. You know, the seeds where the trees are growing, the seeds are in the ground. And when they burn that, they kill the seeds.
Right.
And no wonder the forests are disappearing.
Yeah. Right.
They can't grow if they kill the seeds out.
Yeah.
I say they do the stupidest things.
Yeah. Yeah. The
They
ever
do.
progress of man.
Yeah.
Destroying it. Yeah.
They just, I don't know, they just don't use no common sense.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you.
They think they know it all, but they got a lot to learn.
That's the truth. Yeah, that's the truth.
They're destroying.
Yeah.
They do. They
Yeah,
destroy all this stuff
Yeah,
that helps people.
yeah, yeah. You've inspired me. I was already thinking next year, me and Matt. We don't. Over the years, when Corey and Katie got bigger and didn't ride their bicycles and have swing sets and all that, we put more beds, garden spaces in our. We keep making them bigger, but by next year, my goal is gonna be to have a yard like what you're describing. Throw away my lawnmower, get rid of it. That'd be wonderful.
Well, when we were
Yeah.
a kid, my daddy thought it was a shame if grass grew in the yard.
Yeah.
We swept
Swept
our
it out.
yard.
Yeah, I was going to ask that a minute ago if you swept your yards. They just had it bare and they kept it. They didn't want grass.
We take a broom and sweep our yard. Just like we swept
You
our
were
yard.
lazy if you had grass
Yeah.
growing in your yard. Anything
Yeah.
growing in your yard besides your herbs and stuff around the edges.
So grass was a bad thing.
Yes, yes. We pulled the grass and swept the yard.
Swept the yard. Never
So,
heard that.
when I was here before, I think I seen, did I see comfrey growing out there? Yeah, so is comfrey something that you used for stuff, for medicinal things?
Yeah, that's my Alyssa's grandmother had stuff like that growing, and I just always tried to keep some the rhubarb and stuff like
Yeah.
that she had growing.
Yeah,
We bought her place. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Along with all the medicinal things like that, or it goes right along with that, of course, then there's the old wives' tales or the folklore about, putting a knife under the bed of a woman in labor to cut the pain. Did you hear those kind of things when you were young, too?
Yeah, they had all kinds of things. Of course, God always took care of things. People didn't have all this medicine, but still, they don't use medicine right now. People get to go and get a dose of medicine for pills at the doctor's office. They have to go back and get another.
Right, yeah, it's an ongoing thing instead of
Yeah,
actually curing the...
And they just medicine is good, but it needs to be used right, doesn't it?
Right, yeah, yeah.
How many treatments did we try getting rid of warts? My hand was covered in warts when
Yeah.
I was about 8 or 9 years
Yeah.
old. And I can remember black walnut holes and stealing Mama's dish rag and going and burying it.
Yeah.
Naming them preachers and somebody buying them a penny a piece.
I've heard of the buying them though.
And the
Yeah.
chicken gizzard.
Yeah.
Take the skin out inside the gizzard and rub it on it, and there was something we put in a box, I can't remember, and throw it out in the forks of the road. What was that, Mama?
Well, honey,
For warts. Something we put in a box, tied it up in a box, and throw it out in the forks of the road.
you get nails for each wart.
Mm.
If you had 8 warts, you know, you'd get 8 nails and you'd rub on those warts, and then you'd take them somewhere, put them together, take them somewhere to the forks of the road and throw it down. And the first person that come along, your warts went away. Yeah, things like that. Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
It's amazing what little things they did.
Yeah.
But, you know, that was faith.
Oh, yeah, faith healing, yeah.
Oh, the dish rag was hiding it under a rock, wasn't it? Stealing Mama's dish rag and hiding it under a rock.
Yeah. It's amazing how many stories there are, though, like that where people have actually experienced that they worked. Like you said, it's faith healing.
Faith healing.
Yeah. And then the people that could talk fire out, you know, take the fire out of a burn, take the heat out.
Now, Mama can cure thrush.
Yes, yeah. Someone that me and Melvin worked with, I remember, took their little girl to you and you cured the thrush. That's been years ago, a long time ago.
And who told you? Was it your daddy told you he could tell 2 people how to cure thrush? Your daddy could cure thrush and he could tell 2 people, and then each of you could tell 2 people. Is that how it goes?
My grandma Lisa, her mother was an Indian, and Grandma Lisa, she knew a lot about different kind of herbs. And if she got stung, she'd, I've seen her be out in her garden. She always made her garden. She'd get stung, she'd go to 3 different weeds. She'd like ragweed and whatever next, like this, like that you was talking about a while ago.
Jewelweed or touch-me-not.
Touch-me-not, whatever. 3 different weeds. And she'd get that and she'd do it like this. She'd rub it on that spot where she got stung. That's all she did. Yeah, it's amazing what they do. And it's like, sometimes they'd have what they call risons, where they'd bruise their foot, you know.
Yeah.
They'd take this soap, that big old yellow bars of soap we used to soap. They called it, we used to make, some of us would make homemade soap. You know, you'd save your grease where you'd kill a hog and render the grease out and make homemade soap.
Yeah.
Well, that she bought at the store was made out of the same thing like that we did, you know, if we made it. And you could take that and they'd wet it and put it on a rag and put it around, and it would draw that out, you know, where you got cut or something.
Yeah.
It's amazing what they used.
Yeah.
But it worked.
Well, did you ever help make lye? Make the lye from the ashes?
Like with an ash hopper, save your ash and...
Well, I always, I used to make soap, you know, make soap, but I never did do the lye.
Your grandmother used to make the lye, didn't she? She'd put the ashes in a stump, wasn't it?
Yeah, Grandma used to make homemade hominy, and she'd take ashes out of the stove.
Yeah.
And put it in something. She'd pour water through it, and then she'd put her corn in there and soak it and wash it, and they made hominy, homemade hominy. It was good.
Yeah, I like hominy. I'd love to try that. My mother's made it before, but using, instead of, because you don't have access to that, using baking soda, like in a crock pot. Yeah, it's like, takes longer, probably, a longer process, but. So did it have to be a certain kind of wood for the lye, for soap, or for hominy?
I reckon, I know when they'd make, Daddy'd take an ocean for hominy, he'd go get hickory wood. We had a fireplace, and he'd clean the ashes out, and he'd burn that hickory wood and have the ashes from that hickory wood for Grandma to use.
For the hominy, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
For light, it
amazing
has to be
what they
hardwood.
used.
Huh?
For light, it has to be hardwood. It can't be.
Oh, it has to be
anything resinous.
hardwood, yeah. Okay. I thought I'd heard hickory before. Yeah.
Hickory wood is hard, and it's hardwood, and it makes a good hot fire too. You know, and that's what I'm saying. They're destroying the seeds from these trees, are burning these forests out, cause the seeds falls off, and how's any going to come back?
All right, yeah, yeah. When, so like you said, in those days, everybody had to kind of know a little bit of how to doctor themselves, how to take medicine. But did every community, like did your community have one person that was kind of the go-to person, the
Well-
granny woman or the midwife or whatever that would know also about medicinal remedies if you got sick?
Yes, well, they just always kind of, if one was sick, everybody tried to help, you know,
yeah.
and somebody knowed more than the other about certain
Yeah.
stuff, and they just handed it down, you
Yeah.
know. Things like when you had the children had the earache, you kept a bottle of castor oil, and you'd warm it, and you'd put a drop or two of castor oil in, and you'd take didn't have cotton balls.
Yeah,
You'd
yeah.
take get some a little cloth or something to kind of stick in their ear, have them lay down so it'd go down in there, you know.
Yeah,
And what it is, the wax gets on your eardrum,
yeah.
and it softens that up, and then you lean up back over this way, you know, where it comes off when you
Yeah.
get it good and warm.
Yeah.
With that, and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just all kind of different things they used.
Yeah.
I remember Daddy blowing smoke in Roy's ear one time when he had earache so bad.
Yeah.